When my mother was still alive, she had a whole pack of little dogs, and some medium-sized, some big, but a lot of the time it was just weenie dogs. And she'd take them on walks. She had been in her middle age, actually rode with fox hunters. I mean, it's so awful. But she loved riding and she loved the sport. And, you know, you gallop. Mostly you don't catch a fox. You're just galloping around in fields with a lot of other horses. Anyway, she ascended to the position of whipper-in, which means, you know, there's a huntsman who leads the way, the hounds, and on either side of the pack are what's called the whipper-ins, and they're there to not whip the hounds, but to crack the whip. So, long retired from that, she kept the whip. And she'd walk around town with this this pack of little dogs. You know, carrying, it wasn't a bullwhip, but it was a horsewhip. It was a handle and then a long lash part. And she would actually crack the whip. And I had some friends who had little girl children who witnessed Mom one day come around the corner with the whip, cracking the whip at this little, you know, I mean, it was such a ludicrous scene, this old lady with a whip and this herding these little tiny dogs. Mom was nuts. We all knew that, and I think she was proud of that, in fact. You know, kind of wore her craziness like a crown. Well, when she got older, she didn't have the whip anymore. She didn't pretend to hurt anybody. But she did have little dogs, and she'd go on walks off leash, which wasn't allowed. You know, she was a rule breaker. So her little dogs off leash. And to get them to behave, she always had Milk-Bone in her pocket, little Milk-Bone dog biscuits. And she'd call them and offer them a little bit of biscuit, and so they'd listen to her. And she kept the Milk-Bones in the pocket of it. It was actually my brother's old football jacket. So, I mean, she always kind of, you know, she's just a character, and she looked like a character, and she rose to the occasion. So she was in the habit of offering me a bit of Milk-Bone. I was in my 30s at this point, and I didn't think it was funny. I mean, at a certain point, I just thought, I'm not your dog. I mean, I never said this to her, but, you know, quit offering me dog biscuits. This was the dialogue in my head. So it was a point of contention for me that my mother was so friggin' eccentric and, you know, would parade through town with her cracking the whip at her herd of dogs and would offer me biscuits. Well, when she died, my brother and I, my sister had lived in Vermont, so my brother and I were kind of tasked with cleaning out the house for sale. And it was arduous, and it was hard because we had to, I mean, it was like not only my parents, but back many generations in this one particular house. So it was generations of accrued, you know, lovely stuff, but a lot of crap too. And it took us a long time to get it emptied out for the sale. You know, I'm sure you've seen those things on TV where they stage the thing. We didn't quite do that, but we we had to pare it back, and when all the crap was gone, it was you could see the beauty of the house. And one of the last things that I cleaned out was the coat rack. And there was the football jacket that Mom liked to wear. And I took it off the rack, was getting ready to put it in the, I don't know, pile of stuff that somebody might want, this football jacket. And I felt in the pocket, and there were the milk bones. And, you know, I didn't know what, I couldn't even throw them away. Little bits of milk bone. It just like, it was sort of Mom. Anyway, she wanted me to tell you this. Like, let's let her have a say. It's something about what used to annoy becomes a cherished thing, particularly after you've lost somebody. And I don't think it's necessarily lost them because they've died. It could just be they've left your life for whatever reason, a grown child, or, you know, a husband or a wife that you had, or friends that pass, or friends that you just lose touch with because one of you moves, or somebody becomes so eccentric that they go around the bend and you can't reach them anymore. So, what's the sweetness and the significance maybe of the milk bone, or of the whip, or of something? I mean, I know the whip sounds very bad. It was to embellish and crack and make a noise, not to actually whip a dog. The fox, a different story. Well, look at that. 2 of Cups. I know the lighting in here is crazy, but 2 of Cups. You know, on the face of it, that's a card of connection, and it's blessed by this angelic figure above. It looks like a lion with wings. But I think it's just like a powerhouse of a connection. Interesting, the other thing I had written down here, probably can't see it, but it says double vision, because the other day I had double vision, which is probably a side effect of migraines and dehydration and stuff. But see, this can be considered a card of the, a sort of lower octave of the Lover's card, the twins, double vision. It's also something about like the amplification of love and the healing power. See, there's this sort of stave or stick with the snakes wound around it, and that's the sign for you know, medical, for medicine, for, it's the healing power of love, I think, and it's a Cups energy, water energy, but with this lion, the winged lion, it strikes me as a kind of Leo-esque. Lion-hearted. It's lion-hearted. 3 of Wands. It might be, you know, what have we manifested? What's coming into us? Love will find us all. You know, what do I see when I look out at the future? A healing love, perhaps? My heart cries out for, you know, manifesting that kind of a relationship. That's what I'm waiting for. Oh, what 3 of Wands can mean. I mean, and so far, I really like that. Is it this? Yes. Oh, geez. 7 of Swords. Well, you couldn't find, I suppose you could if you really looked hard enough, but these are very opposites. Remember the double vision? You know, the cups of love and this card of deception. Somebody sneaking away. It's a card of the sneak, of the liar. It can be exiting a situation. Well, this guy's looking over his shoulder at this card of the future. It's sword energy, so it has to do with, you know, kind of sneaking away without saying anything. Swords can speak to speech. It's kind of a false victory. Looking back over his shoulder at this one that's looking out at the future. I mean, there's a lot of, like, we look at each other. Somebody is hoping to have manifested that kind of a relationship, but is looking over their shoulder at, you know, perhaps this lost opportunity that somebody like bounced, somebody skated, somebody exited stage left. So one of these people may have really been able to project, to imagine, because wands are creative energy, to imagine a future, while perhaps the other party was busy planning an exit, you know, thinking about it. I don't like that. Tell us about the Two of Cups. I may be reading it all wrong, but somebody may have been deceiving themselves about having a future with somebody else. Eight of Cups. You know, again, it's in Cups energy. It comes under Two of Cups. But again, it's somebody walking away. You know, I'm thinking about leaving. Here I go. Eight of Cups usually means leaving something behind, maybe that you once loved, somebody once loved, but they're going in search of perhaps a higher love. You know, and the moon can be a mystery, something hidden. We have the moon really predominantly, and we're coming up on a new moon. A full moon in Libra. You know, and this guy has the stave in hand. It's Cups energy. It's water energy, but they've got a walking stick that looks like a wand. There's a lot of almost like a prismatic energy, or, you know, you look this way and it bounces. You know, you're seeing things at different angles. Two cards of somebody with their back turned. Is it this one? Under Three of Wands, we have Six of Pentacles. It's a card of reciprocity, of help, in 3D, in Pentacles energy, something real and substantial. Something coming into balance. I mean, this is a card of reciprocal love. Somebody might be walking away from a situation that, you know, demanded this kind of balanced give and take. We've got the scales there, balanced give and take. You know, the rich guy is handing out coins to the other people. You know, it could be financial help, but... So tell me about the help. And somebody may have helped somebody in the past, Pentacles energy, maybe even a long time ago, and then they left. All minor arcana so far. Somebody plotting an escape, or tell us about the Seven of Swords, because, you know, Star card, we had that yesterday. Card of Aquarius. In air energy. This is bad air energy. Even if it's escaping by any means, it's escaping without, it seems to me, without saying anything. It's like hitting the road jack, but not speaking about it. And yet there's this card of healing. The all-encompassing Aquarian energy of the collective. I think there's, you know, just hearing like trouble. The collective is facing some kind of really significant challenge. You know, misunderstandings, something that was misspoken, Seven of Swords, or you know, somebody failed to articulate something. Okay, on Eight of Cups, Three of Cups. Well, it's a card of reconciliation and joy and reunion. It can also be read sometimes as a card of third party, you know, and not necessarily a third, you know, a triangulated love situation. It could be anything that comes in the way of two people. Even like work that gets in the way of a couple. This could be somebody leaving without an explanation and going toward a third party. I mean, this gives me I don't think I've got this right. I kind of, you know, la 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 la. I don't want to believe that. But there is this card of deceiving oneself or somebody else. Somebody may have led somebody else to believe, sword energy, that there was this kind of future. And they might not have been doing it on purpose. Tell us about the star, because that kind of redeems the whole reading. You know, it's like this is the personal 3D expression of love, of joining, you know, of braiding your lives, these snakes going up the stave. And this is a card of the collective, the bigger group, the extended group. The healing that happens when we come together. When we come together. And if Eight of Cups can be construed as looking for a higher love, you know, it's clarified by this, which might mean third party, but it also just might mean joy, reunion, friendship. Okay, let's clarify star card, please. Bottom of the deck, Four of Cups. You know, this one is under the tree. God, the lighting is awful, I apologize. Under the tree, kind of almost in a trance state, And there's the opportunity for love, that Ace of Cups, being held out. You know, if you'd wake up, because this one is just arms crossed, a little bit sullen. So we have 3 of Cups, 4 of Cups. It can be a card of illusion. But I think if there's been a kind of torpor, or, you know, just a kind of heaviness, a laziness around things of the heart, in comes the healing of that. There are a lot of contradictory cards here. We have the 2 of Cups and the 3 of Wands, both positive cards, the connection, looking toward the future. And then we have this negative card, the 7 of Swords. And we have this, the card of sort of like ignoring this offer of love. But it's on the card of healing. Stick with me. This is a weird one, and I don't know where to go. Okay, on 2, on 2 of Cups, Magician, card of manifestation. You know, as above, so below, bringing something through from the 5D into the 3D. Card of manifestation right next door. What's coming into me? You know, what's coming through? And I think this indicates, it's the one card in the Major Arcana that you're more powerful than you know. You know, you can manifest this kind of relationship. And with reasonable expectation, that's what you're waiting for. Now we're going to clarify this 7 of Swords, the card of deception or sneakiness or leaving. Hangman. Card of Pisces. Cups energy, water energy. This can be the holdup. This can be getting a new perspective on something. You know, and it's almost like the holdup lasts as long as it takes for this person to gain an epiphany, you know, an understanding of what their feelings actually are. Is that what I'm waiting for? Is somebody else stepping out the back while I'm busy looking to the future? And I think this is like a card of gestation. You know, the caterpillar in the cocoon, you know, hanging upside down in the cocoon, waiting to be ripe, waiting to be matured, those feelings waiting to be processed, all these apparent contradictory feelings, this sense of double vision. On 6 of Pentacles, the card of help or equal exchange. Oh, wow, look. 4 of Wands. 3 of Wands. Manifesting. What are we manifesting? Well, perhaps equal give and take. And I always see this one as 2 parties. I mean, it can be the 11-11 card, the portal. But since it's Wands energy, which are directional and intentional, it's like 2 parties. And you can see them. Yeah, they're little, but they're inside this open structure. It's not like boxing anybody in. They've traveled equal distance, Wands energy. Traveled, moved, distance. You know, they've come together in this place. equal distance, equal exchange. You know, I think even though there are some weird energies at work, it looks to me like this will take time. It's in the future. There is a holdup. Feelings are getting processed, and there are apparently contradictory feelings here. But somebody wants to build Pentacles energy, you know, piece by piece, put together something that's balanced and real. And it's a card of the Bower, where we can meet up. It's a card of accord. Okay. On Three of Wands, we have Queen of Pentacles. I love her. I really do. Him, her, them, there. This energy of, you know, I'm real, I'm solid. This is a soft landing. It's a good place to land. Pentacles energy, you know, substantial. This is a caretaker. This is somebody who would nurture. Pentacles energy, all about growth. Nurture a relationship like this. Over time, Pentacles energy, time. And it may have been something that's been unfolding for 6 years. Could be. Anyway, a long time for this thing to come into balance. Six of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Two of Cups, all cards of balance. There was a holdup. I don't know what the problem was. I mean, somebody was ignoring something that was right in front of their face. Some connection that was right in front of them. Right there, right there. And they bounced. And maybe they bounced because they had to mature enough, sort of like this cocoon image. Matured enough to know what they feel, to know how important this relationship is. Two of Cups, Four of Wands. This can mean on the next holiday. You know, it's just an event to celebrate. I don't think it has anything to do with third party. I mean, in that kind of, you know, my partner has another lover, or there's something that stands between us that's insurmountable. Yeah, there are challenges. And primarily it's this challenge around belief or speech or communication. Is it this one? Knight of Wands. We had that the other day too. Fast-moving, inspired, sometimes slightly erratic energy. You know, it's somebody moving fast to do something. And remember we said the directional aspect of this? Two people coming together, traveling equal distance. Six of Pentacles, Four of Wands. Well, here comes somebody. You know, maybe making up for lost time. Moving fast to make up for lost time. Perhaps this a Six of Pentacles, you know, years. But manifesting Two of Cups. The Seven of Swords is like a glitch in the matrix, or in the energy field, or something like that. Somebody's beliefs really got derailed this. Tell us more about the Knight of Wands, please. Spirit. Straighten us out. King of Wands. Well, from the Knight to the King, that's a step up in energy. You know, in Wands energy, life force, purpose, passion, creativity. Knight of Wands, King of Wands, Three of Wands, Four of Wands. It's like getting pumped up. Somebody's getting pumped up to do something. Their energy may have been drained before. Maybe somebody deceived them and it made them cynical. You know, it messed with their beliefs, their sword energy. Somebody may have stepped out on the Queen of Pentacles. You know, they may have left this person alone and in a place of yearning. I don't see what this has to do with the milk bone. I mean, it's not always, doesn't always work that way. Okay, there's a choice here. There's a prioritizing. You know, after we've weighed this up for a long time, Pentacles energy time, you know, which matters more? Earth energy matters. It involves a decision. There's also this sort of infinity symbol that you know, it's both inside and outside time somehow. It's the tick-tock of, you know, temporality, the fact that we live in 3D and apparently time seems to pass. So somebody may be trying to like beat the clock or catch up because they want to do something. King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. Very differing energies, but maybe the two creating some kind of balance between dependability and steadfastness, Queen of Pentacles, and this do it, let's do it. Is an old Cole Porter song, birds do it, bees do it, even sophisticated fleas do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Somebody may be deciding to try at least to manifest this. You know, somebody may have made a big mistake in the past, but it looks to me like the sword energy of that Seven of Swords has really been healed. You know, I think maybe both these people have been led to this meeting place. You know, they've had the impulse, Wands energy, to go there. And I think Queen of Pentacles may have been there for longer. You know, that Pentacles aspect of time. And in fact, Queen of Pentacles may have been the one that manifested this change, the dance of change in this character. May have had a calming effect on the King of Wands, because this is, again, this is sort of like fired up and a little bit erratic. Like, I'll do this, I'll do that. It's a little bit ADHD. You know, hyperactive. And Queen of Pentacles may have brought this person into some sort of balance where they're ready to give. They know that the Queen helps them, card of help, balances them, the scales that the guy holds. You know, a helpmate, a helpmeet. And I'm looking for the dog and the bone and the mom. Well, this is a mom. This can be a card of the mother. In that sense of the caretaker. We have on the board Magician, which is Gemini, Hangman, which is Pisces, Star, which is Aquarius, and that's it. And I think things are moving in the right direction. They may have been derailed at some point. Somebody may have left because they weren't ready yet. They needed to mature. This is not a mature energy, particularly. It's active, it's inspired, but it's a bit this way, that way. This person may have matured. Again, Pentacles speak to time. It may have taken them 2 years to get their act together. But there is a lot of energy of coming together. I'm just looking to see if there are any repeat numbers, and there really aren't. But this is a card of coming together. Coming together. You know, I think that the balance, in balance, there's a reasonable expectation, you know, a reason for optimism, despite what went down. And that we may be moving toward a feeling of accord here. 8 of Cups, 3 of Cups. I think that's it. I love you guys. I'm not sure if this is a cohesive reading or not. I often have to look back at the reading in order to remember what I said. I get into kind of a place. And Star card. Being guided to the place. It may have taken a long time. But it looks like, you know, the ships are coming in. Somebody who's been waiting has not wasted their time. They've been working Pentacles energy on manifesting a really balanced relationship. Yeah, I'll see you next time.